Today on Commander Replay, we check out Teysa Scion of Orzhov. Can our Aristocrats combo deck survive past the Restore Balance? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have one new Patreon supporter in Lyndon Swanwick. Lyndon, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to use the TCG affiliate player link as it helps supports the channel and doesn't cost you anything. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Teysa Orzhov Scion today, and today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Jared. This is their deck list, and took a look at it before the game. Looks pretty well tuned up. It's going to be black-white aristocrats. It's got the darkness combo in it, so it's got some stuff. We kept a hand that's got two tutors. That seems pretty exciting to me. Maybe a little land light, but we can use one tutor to find darkness and one tutor to find something that gets us into more lands. That's an expedition map. That'll find us more lands, so that seems good. Let's get the Terramorphic Expanse first. Guess we'll just crack that for a white mana right now. Looks like we need to get a little bit of white. Do have the one swamp in hand already. So we'll get ourselves a plains. Onto the battlefield tapped, and we will pass like that. So for those that don't remember, Teysa Orzhov Scion, the original Teysa, out of, what is that? Is that Guild Pack or Dissension? I can't remember the symbols super well. Anyway, it's 3 mana for a 2/3, and it says, sacrifice 3 white creatures, exile target creature. Whenever another black creature you control dies, create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying. So the most common thing that you see with this is typically aristocrats, and the card Darkness, which makes every creature you control black. Right? Is it just all creatures black? I can't remember now. But it does make all your creatures black, so whenever you sacrifice a creature, you get another creature, and that goes infinite very easily, and then it's just a matter of like Zulaport Cutthroat, something like that, to finish it off, and a sack outlet. So it's a pretty powerful commander. I've definitely lost to it a number of times over the years, just the fact that it does combo out relatively easily. It doesn't take that many cards to do. So pretty strong, pretty cool little commander, one that's been around for a while. Good chance if you've been playing commander for a while, you've probably seen it at some point. So, and in my opinion, I would say it's probably one of the stronger black-white commanders, excluding like Tymna, which is a partner, and that has a bunch of different ramifications about it, but excluding Tymna, I think Teysa is one of the stronger black-white commanders in my opinion, and you should definitely take note when there's one sitting down at the table. Anyway, that brings us back to our turn. We draw an Isolated Chapel. That'll be pretty good. We can get that in untapped, so let's go ahead and do that. We've got some choices now. Looks like the curve of this deck is pretty nice. A lot of low drops here, so we do have a lot of choices about what we want to cast. I think I'm just going to go... for the Mind Stone and the Expedition map. That feels like a pretty good plan to me. I mean, I think we're actually not that far away. Now, we will have to get past the interaction from our opponents, which could be a thing. Oh, and one thing to think about also is that Fish Said Fish is piloting Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, so non-creature spell is going to cost 1 more to cast, so I think it was actually a pretty good play trying to get 2 non-creatures out of our hand this past turn, as opposed to waiting, because we'll probably be looking at Thalia this turn. Here comes a Talisman for Dave. He did lay down a land tax last turn, and did get himself 3 lands. You're going to play a Skull Clamp with the Talisman. Yeah, Skull Clamp pretty good in the Kykar deck. Dave piloting Kykar Wind's Fury. He plays a combo version of it. I never know exactly what the win condition is. I think it's just Dramatic Reversal and something, but he's typically going to run a lot of wheels, which probably means that we do want to get these tutors out of our hand and get some stuff into play rather quickly. Yep, here comes that Thalia. Thalia should be good because it should slow Dave down. Since I play Dave a lot, you know, the thing that I've noticed is that he averages about 4 actions a turn. When there's a Thalia in play, he's not going to be doing that. And very few of those are ever casting a creature. It's usually artifacts and spells for him. So Thalia probably going to be kind of a headache for him. Anyway, continuing on. We did mention Fish Said Fish piloting Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and Fish really likes mono white stacks. They love locking out the board, they love blowing up the lands, all things that might happen with their deck, so we'll need to be careful of that. And finally, we've got Jazz Fox, a Patreon supporter we haven't seen in a little while, but happy to have in the game today. And they're piloting Heliod Suncrown, a commander that I haven't actually seen in action yet, so I'm interested to see what their deck does. They did lay down a Nyx Fleece Ram on 2, and cast Heliod on turn 3, so Heliod's in play. It's indestructible, and as they gain life, things are probably going to get huge, so I don't think we're going to want to dawdle too much in trying to get all of our combos assembled and things like that. Anyway, that brings it back to our turn. We draw a Disenchant. Ooh. I mean, Skull Clamp is a pretty good target for that. With Thalia in play, that does make it a little bit painful, so yeah. Some point we're going to need to get like Cabal Coffers into play and do that whole thing, and that'll help get us past the Thalia a little bit. I think Dave's tapped out right now. Any Strip Mines in play? No Strip Mine. What's this? We got a Radiant Fountain and a... Ooh, that's a Field of Ruin. Okay, maybe we want to wait. Maybe we don't want to just go for that. I think that being the case, let's get the land. Maybe the Worn Power Stone? When there's... It feels like because there's stacks at the table, making more mana is probably a good idea. That's kind of what I'm going with right here. Field of Ruin, definitely going to be a problem for us. Means that we probably want to go like Urborg first and then be really judicious about when we lay down the Cabal Coffers and probably try to like win the game all at once right there. Might be the thing. So next turn, we might look at like getting our commander and then trying to do the Vampiric Tutor or crack the Expedition map, something like that. But we may also have to shoot the Skull Clamp as well. Dave said you're supposed to go Mox Lotus Balance Land Drop. Yesterday on Twitter, I posted a poll and asking if balance should be unbanned in EDH, and it has been what you call a divisive issue. I've been checking in on it at multiple points in the day. At 30 votes, it was dead tied at 50-50. Checked again at 80 votes, same thing, dead tied, 50-50. 160 votes, still tied at 50-50, you know. And there's been points throughout the day where like one will take the lead slightly, but the number of times that I've checked in on it, it's been mostly 50-50. People really divided on whether balance should be a card or not. And by the way, Fish did suspend a Restore Balance last turn. It's got 4 counters left on it. Might get a good feel on what it's like to play against balance if the game goes long enough for this thing to resolve. So that's all a thing. Bastion Protector coming in. Yeah, ooh, it's going to make it hard to get rid of that Thalia. Thalia probably not going anywhere now. And it's going to swing our way. Cool. Although we do have like Grave Pact. I'm sure there's like a Toxic Deluge in the deck. Let's see if I can bring the deck list up on another screen here. No, yeah, no Toxic Deluge, so... yeah, that's the thing. We do have Unmake, Utter, and Despark. I guess Despark doesn't help that much, but and Anguished Unmaking. So, okay, there's a couple Exile effects in there. We got some Grave Pack stuff, so it is theoretically possible to deal with the Thalia. We just don't have anything at the moment. So, Jazz Fox lays down a Shadow Spear, another card that I need to adopt into some of my deck lists. I just haven't done that yet. And they do get a counter on the Nyx Fleece Ram. It's slowly getting bigger. Next turn will probably get even bigger than that. Also, Shadow Spear says, permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. I've got some really mixed feelings about that ability. Like, if you're the one in control of it, it's probably really good. If your opponents have it, it's really bad because, like, I play a lot of Voltron. Hexproof and indestructible are things you want when you're playing Voltron, and that's a really interesting clause on the Shadow Spear, so as good as it will be for a lot of my decks, I think it might also be really bad when someone else has one. And, yeah. Anyway, so brings back to our turn, we draw a land, let's play the land, let's get our commander into play. Oh, crap, I shouldn't have played the land right there, I should have waited, yep, big time. Okay, let's use the Mind Stone, get our commander into play. And we'll probably do some tutoring at the end step here. We've got 4 total mana left. We can go Vampiric Tutor and crack Expedition map. Seems like it could be a pretty good thing. So I think it seems pretty good. Dave's going to land tax once again. So if we get Darkness, we need... what do we need? We need 1 creature. We need 1 creature, Darkness, and get the Phyrexian Altar in, and we've got unlimited mana. And then Torment of Hellfire is in the deck. Kind of means that we just need to, like, draw a couple cards. I suppose we could crack the Mind Stone at some point to do that. We just need to look at, like, a creature, any creature, doesn't matter which one. I would say that this is probably a pretty good opener with 2 tutors. in the opener and a sack outlet. Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Maybe this game's going to be a little bit Christmas landy. We'll see. I don't know. But 2 tutors, sack outlet in the opener feels like that's not something you're going to have every single time. Yeah, Dave getting locked out pretty good here. He's usually known for doing way more stuff a turn. So he plays a Mind Stone right here. Restore a balance, ticking down. Maybe some potential that he doesn't want to get crushed by the restore balance if he doesn't think he can like win all in one shot. Now, one thing to think about. Let's see what kind of mana Dave's got up. He's got 1 blue. That could be a counter spell. It could be. Oh, that's another Field of Ruin. Gonna be even tougher to get that Cabal Coffers going now. There's a Giver of Ruins. Yep. I may just give up on the Cabal Coffers thing since there's multiple pieces of land destruction in play. One thing I don't love is that Vampiric Tutor makes us give up our draw for the turn. We're like 1 piece away based on what we have currently. Nyx Fleece Ram going to gain some life at the upkeep, and it'll get pumped up more. Yeah, there's that Heliod ability. I am excited to play Heliod. I haven't done that yet. I might be filming Heliod later today. The plan is definitely going to be to get Heliod video out this week, so yeah. They do have an Amarian play, 1 plane, so they're a ways away still. There's an Etched Oracle. Oh, that seems good. That seems good in that deck. Yeah. Gain a little bit of life, put a bunch of counters on it, and then use those counters to draw some cards. That is definitely a weakness of mono white, is drawing the cards. So Etched Oracle, looking pretty good. So let's go to the end step. Let's crack the Expedition map. I'm just going to go for Urborg right here. I mean, Cabal Coffers, just 2 Field of Ruins in play. Cabal Coffers is not going to stick. Oh, opponent's got an Aven Mind Sensor. Oh, wow. Well, let's Vampiric Tutor. No. Vampiric Tutor with Expedition map on the stack does not seem amazing. Ooh, that's going to get us. That is going to get us. We waited too long. Huh. Hope there's a land in our top 4. There is not. Well, I'm not actually sure that we needed any of those cards. Elspeth would be kind of cool. Gets us creatures, but... Wow. Just got ripped by that Aven Mind Sensor. Nice play, fish. There's a Cruel Celebrant. That's something. Now we need removal. Let's get the Phyrexian Altar into play. Hopefully it doesn't draw too much attention to itself. I have a serious question about whether I think a board wipe is coming or not. Fish, probably not about to play one. They have a bunch of creatures. Jazz, maybe not. Dave would probably be the one that would play one. But he's not a huge board wipe guy, so with that being the case, I guess we're going for the Cruel Celebrant right here. I think I talked myself into it. So now we just need things we can sacrifice. Also, potentially something to get rid of the Aven Mind Sensor. Wow. The Mind Sensor. 2 tutors in hand. 2 dead cards right now. Feels bad. Did I say Darkness earlier? Darkest Hour is the card I meant. Dave's going to crack a fetch. Seems risky with an Aven Mind Sensor in play. Especially he likes low land counts. I think he found a land. Looks like he found a land, though. Here comes Kykar. Yep. Boots on Kykar. And he's stopping right there. What are we on this restore balance? Uh-oh. 3. Ticking down to 2. We need to hurry. I was just going to try to race everyone out with this restore balance. I don't know if that's going to work. So restore balance does not affect artifacts. It will affect lands, creatures, and number of cards in hand. There's a Skull Clamp. They want to go ahead and Skull Clamp that Mind Sensor. That'd be great. Gonna put a Skull Clamp on Thalia. Makes it a 5/2. It is indestructible. Can do some attacking. It's got some attacking chops. Thinking maybe, if we have to, just Demonic Tutor, at least to look at our top 4 and try to pull the best thing out of there. Like, we're so close. But, ooh. Thalia coming in our way. Cool. This will put us to 9 Commander. Also the Bastion Protector. And the Aven Mind Sensor. We could... No, let's see. Whenever another black creature you control dies, we could sacrifice the Cruel Celebrant to make a 1/1 to kill the Mind Sensor. I think we do it. So, yeah. Then I think maybe after that I'll crack the Mind Stone, try to draw a card. Sacrifice the Cruel Celebrant. That'll give us a 1/1 Spirit with flying. Each opponent will lose 1 life and will gain 1 life. There's a Spirit. We'll use the floating mana to draw with the Mind Stone. It's an utter end. Okay. Use the flyer to block the mind sensor, get this thing out of here, and this will open our tutors back up, and I think that'll be pretty good for us. Oh, you protection! They give it protection, the giver of ruins. No. Oh, it was almost so good. All right. Next plan. Use the utter end, huh? Nope. Utter end isn't going to work either. Crap. Oh, man. It was almost so good. Now we're down a Cruel Celebrant, which, you know, could be a win condition for us. I guess we could still utter end the Aven Mind Sensor on our turn. Might need to do that. There's 26 creatures in this deck. We really haven't seen very many of them. I guess that's part of the issue with having a handful of tutors. That's a thing that can happen sometimes. I guess the other thing we might want to think about is a Teferi's Protection. Knight of the White Orchid coming into play. Opponent will need a plains in their top 4. They find one. I don't know how everyone else is finding stuff. Their top 4. Won't lie, it's a little bit annoying. There's a Suture Priest. Suture Priest. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you may have that player lose 1 life. That can prevent us from going infinite, depending on exactly what we're doing. That's a thing. Board wipe off the top would be the most ideal. A lot of things we need to get rid of. Jazz Fox is going to send a little attack over to Thalia. And Heliod, now a creature. It's a 5/5. And sending in the Nyx Fleece and the Etched Oracle. They go down to 30. That's a Wrath of God. That's exactly what we need. Yeah. Yeah, it's Wrath of God time. Send Teysa on the attack first. We get them for 2. Wrath of God time. Thalia will survive. Should sacrifice Teysa for mana. See if Dave's going to respond. Dave's going to Arcane Denial the Wrath? Really? That seems not great. I mean, maybe he's planning to win right here. Well, at least we didn't sack our commander yet. Suture Priest will trigger. Now, Suture Priest, I mean, it's going to stop us. I think it's also going to stop Dave, which is important. At least we get to draw. So he gets a Spirit. Yeah, okay. Okay, I was really counting on that to resolve. Arcane Denial will trigger. At least we get cards. Use the ability. Draw 2. Razaketh's going to be tough to get into play. Piper of the Swarm. Rats you control have Menace. It makes rat tokens. This feels like the wheel. Dave's on 8 cards. I don't know. Does he wheel with 8? He's got a lot of lands in hand. I don't know how many non-lands he actually has. There's a Jataxian Probe looking at our hand. He's going to get a good look at that. We have some stuff. Razaketh also not going to be helpful as long as the Aven Mind Sensor is sticking around. He's going to equip a token. So trying to draw some cards. There's a Mana Crypt. Does have to pay for it. Creates his Spirit. That'll trigger the Suture Priest. That's kind of the good news. That Suture Priest should be able to keep Dave from going wild. He's going to have a real tough time trying to combo through that, which is surprising that he didn't let the board wipe go through, but said he needs his commander. Going to sacrifice another Spirit. Drawing all the cards right now. Helm of Awakening, so that'll negate the Thalia. Suture Priest will trigger. We could sacrifice Teysa and disenchant the Helm of Awakening. It's going to Swords on the Thalia. Ooh. Creates another token. Thalia down. There's a Faithless Looting. Still looking. Actually, we should save disenchant for the Isochron Scepter. I think is what we need to do. He might make himself a target here. Frantic Search. Another Spirit. Untap some lands. Definitely good with the Helm of Awakening out. He nets mana off that. There is some chance that we should probably shoot the Helm of Awakening, but it'll also be good for our turn if it'll survive that long. Faithless Looting flashback. Problem is we're also going to have to watch out for a counterspell. Discard some lands. There's a Preordain. Free counter could get us. Dave does like his free counters. There's an Arkham's Astrolabe. Suture Priest continuing to trigger. Draws a card. Oh, that's an Echo of Eons. Okay. Fish is gonna Swords on the Heliod. We can let that happen. We can... Is this a shuffle? This is a shuffle. No point to Vampiric Tutor. Do we disenchant anything? Don't think so. Do we sacrifice our commander and get rid of his boots? Or his Skull Clamp? Yeah, I think we should. Sacrifice Teysa. Disenchant the... Go for the Skull Clamp. He's going to Swan Song that. That gives us a token. Makes another creature for him, so that'll whittle his life down further. We lose a life. See what kind of hand we draw. Few lands. What's this one do? Castle Lochtwain. Enters battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp. Add a black. Pay 3, draw a card, then lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. Ooh, that's interesting. We got Bankrupt in Blood as additional cost to cast the spell. Sacrifice 2 creatures, draw 3 cards. I'm not sold on that one. Dreadhorde Invasion seems okay. Smothering Abomination is some card draw. Necrotic Sliver will be good just because we can shoot things, and that seems like it could be important. There's a Red Elemental Blast on our bird. Do we have any instance? We have no instance. Might as well... Oh, is he gonna wheel again? Might as well float some white mana. Another Frantic Search. Another Suture Priest. Yeah, he can wheel again. Discard some lands. Hurkyl's Recall. Uh-oh. He's down to 12, though. Oh, he did it to fish. Skull Clamps, another token. Heuristic Study, gross. Chromox. Kykar's Suture Priest. Down to 10. Yeah, Thalia. If Thalia stuck, Thalia stops all of this. Eats another Spirit with the Skull Clamp. Mox Diamond. Suture Priest. I think Isochron Scepter is a cast? Does that make a Spirit every time he does it? If it does, Suture Priest will kill him. I can't remember exactly how Isochron Scepter works. There's a Smothering Tide. That's an annoying one. He can flashback the wheel to get a bunch of mana. Is he out? I think he's out. He's out. More importantly, he's down to 8. This Restore Balance ticking down. I think our plan has to be Necrotic Sliver and hold up removal. This should hopefully get him focused down a bit, though. He also has a Mana Crypt in play, and if he loses that flip, that's going to be 3 damage, so... You know, the Suture Priest sticks. That might take him out. That's an Hour of Revelation. Oh my. See if that gets countered. He has 2 cards in hand. If he has a free counter, he'll have to use it. He has so much stuff in play. Sacrifices a Spirit. It's going to Swords on the Bastion Protector. He's planning to wheel again on his turn. They're going to Giver of Ruins. Okay. That was an unnecessary play. I'm not sure what the point of that was. Doesn't look like a counter, though, so I think this is going to resolve, and then the Restore Balance is going to happen next turn. I am sad that we're not going to get a crack at the Helm of Awakening. Alright, what's everyone got left? Dave's got 6 lands. He's got the most. We've got 4. Fish has 4, and Jazz Fox has 5. Dave's down to 7. He will die to a Gentle Breeze. He's probably also going to wheel on his turn. Graveyard removal would be good. He's out of cards if his graveyard gets exiled. Jazz is going to Field of Ruin Fish's Field of Ruin. That would have been good for all of our plays earlier in the game with when we were trying to set up the Cabal Coffers and Urborg. That gives us a land. We've got black lands in hand. I think we need a Plains. Although maybe our costs in hand are more black heavy right now. Jazz Fox is up to 50. That's the thing that all happened. Altar of the Pantheon. Your devotion to each color and each combination of colors is increased by 1. Interesting. Add 1 mana of any color. If you control a god, a demigod, or a legendary enchantment, you gain 1 life. Interesting card. Soul Snare. Sacrifice Soul Snare. Exile target creature that's attacking you or a planeswalker you control. There's a Seraph of the Scales. Let's play Castle Lochtwain. Gives us 6 mana. That's actually relevant. So I think I want to go Dreadhorde Invasion and Smothering Abomination. Actually, we're probably just going to lose the Smothering Abomination, so that may have been a waste. But in the event that we don't. Anointed Procession, yeah, enchantments don't get hit. Dave's going to flash back the Echo of Eons. Necrotic Sliver came back to us. Oh, that's so many lands. Ouch. Wow, that hurts. There's an Urborg. We'll try to get Urborg in. Dave plays a land. Plays a gamble. Down to 5 cards in hand, so we will be having to discard some. Discards a Mana Confluence. Don't know what he's got in hand. Maybe another wheel. I don't know. Maybe a free counter. He could have gone for a free counter right here if he does not want the Restore Balance to resolve. That's going to be a path on our Smothering Abomination. It's not going to do much. If we get a land, and we're just going to lose the land, I think. Get a swamp. Should have got a Plains. We do have Urborg in hand. Here comes Restore Balance. Let's see if it gets countered. Casting Restore Balance. We have to choose 5 lands, so choose the multicolor land, the castle, plains, swamp, swamp. So we lose 2 lands. Dave lose some lands. That's actually a pretty big game. We have to discard a little bit. We need to choose 5 cards in our hand. The rest will get discarded. So we're going to keep the Sliver, Urborg, High Market, Basilica, and we get to keep 1 more Myriad Landscape. So I'm giving up on the Evolving Wilds and the Guildgate. All things considered, not too bad. Everyone looks like everyone discarding lands mostly. There's an Ancient Tomb for fish. It's pretty good at this moment. There's an extra planar lands. That's going to get us some extra mana. We just need things to do with mana, which we don't have in this moment. Dave playing Snow Covereds. Dave is playing Snow Covereds. That will help him. Can't say I love that. Thalia coming back to play. Should make life difficult for Dave. Kind of wish we kept another Plains now, but there was no way to know that was coming. Here's a Thaumatic Compass for Jazz Fox. Solemn Simulacrum. That seems so incredibly good at this moment. I would take a Sad Bot. If it dies, you get that card draw. Sweet, sweet card draw. Gonna get themselves a land. I think I'm on Necrotic Sliver right here just to make sure Dave doesn't win. Necrotic Sliver hold up the mana. Thaumatic Compass will flip. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Dreadhorde Invasion trigger. We'll lose 1 life and amass 1. Oh, we draw another land. That hurts so badly. Wow. So play the Necrotic Sliver. Now that all the land destruction's gone, I think we try to set up the Urborg Cabal coffers. So I'm going to go for Urborg right here, even though we have some slow lands that we could be playing. That does make us 1 short casting our commander. However, we can activate the castle, which might be an end-step thing if we don't need to Necrotic Sliver anything, which we probably will. Dave going for Kykar. Thalia is in play. Kykar, unfortunately, a blocker. If we Necrotic Kykar, if everyone attacked him, he would die, but I don't know if everyone's doing that. No, he wouldn't. He would still survive. Probably better to hold it up then. There's a Ketra's Monument. That's a good one. Potentially a card for this deck. I would need to see what else is in the deck, but if there's enough white creatures in the deck. It's, the cost reduction solid, and the tokens are also really good. There's a Palace Jailer. See if this goes after Kykar. This would get the same job done. So opponent's going to become the Monarch, and let's see what they're going to exile. Going for the Kykar. Excellent. He could just die to random beats now. No attacks. Oh, that makes me sad. Opponent has a Makokoro in play. Here comes Heliod back to play, yeah. Ooh, that seems good with Heliod. So you add 1 mana, and if you control a god, which you will most of the time, you gain 1 life, so keep putting counters on stuff. Yep, they're going to activate it. They're going to put a counter. They can put one on the Solemn Simulacrum. Together forever. Enters battlefield support 2. I think Solemn Simulacrum's about to start looking real lethal. Heliod now a creature. Solemn Simulacrum's a 4/4. That's a relevant amount of damage. Yep, swinging at Dave. So that should give us the opportunity to finish him. And that'll be a good idea, because he will combo off if we don't. He goes down to 3. At the end step, I'm going to activate Castle Locktwain. It's going to be painful, but we need to look at cards so badly. 5 life to draw 1 card. Seems pretty steep. It's another land. Wow. Hopefully the next card is not a land. We have found the pocket of lands. Viscera Seer. Yeah, I'll sack stuff to start scrying. Oh, man. Swing it, Dave. Sad. The sad robot started illegal steroids. Now it can't compete in the Robot Olympics. They never check the oil. Down Dave goes. All right, what are we doing next? Our commander. We should probably get our commander at some point. Do have a snow-covered plains in hand. That gets us double mana. Myriad Landscape potentially make us a lot of mana if we crack it and get 2 plains. That's a few turns away. Let's get our commander. Just see where this puts us. So untap lands means we can activate the Necrotic Ooze. But I think I want to get the Viscera Seer right here. Let's get the Myriad Landscape. And then we'll pass like that. I might crack Myriad Landscape on the upkeep. Oh, opponent's going to Makokoro. Just so that we can pull some lands out of the deck, because we're having wow, another land. That's so many. How many cards did we look at? We drew 7. We've drawn probably 4 since then. So like in 12 cards, there's what, 3 non-lands? Yeah, I'm definitely cracking Myriad Landscape on the upkeep, try to pull some stuff out of the deck. And then after that, I might sacrifice the zombie army to scry, because we cannot draw more lands. That's not a thing we can afford to do. Opponent's going to activate Makokoro again. I mean, it has to be another land, right? Wow, it's another one! Oh my god. Oh my god. Here comes an Archangel of Tithes, yeah. Flying about to be a thing. Solemn Simulacrum triggers the Oketra Monument. Honestly, board wipe wouldn't be the worst thing. We'd clean our opponents out pretty good. And then we just need to like find a way to get into it. We don't have like great ways to climb back in the game right now. We got to see what kind of card draws in this deck. Our life is starting to dwindle, which is also not great. Grave Pact could be a thing, but that would require us to stop drawing lands. Opponent's the Monarch. It's going to be pretty tough to wrangle it away from them. There's a Krav and a Regna in this deck. That's actually a way that we could draw like a meaningful amount of cards. Skull Clamp's also in the deck. Gotta hope for one of those. Here's a Nyx Lotus coming into play. Yep. Choose a color, add an amount of mana equal to your devotion to that color. It's a little slow, but if you untap with it, at this point in the game, it's looking pretty good. But Thalia's got a little army over here, and we might just go down to attacks at some point, is a thing that could happen. We're going to need to find Darkest Hour really soon. We have a sack outlet. Opponent's sending everything at Thalia. That's good news. We are definitely on the back foot. Heliod gaining some life. I didn't see from what. Oh, maybe they just tapped the thing. Heliod now is 6/6. Oh, yeah, I think they tapped the thing to pay for the Archangel of Ties, is what happened. Gonna pump up that Solemn Simulacrum even more. So 2 threats coming into opponent. And they're just gonna chump block. Trims down their army just a little bit. That's good news. Fish loses their Solemn Simulacrum, so they get to draw. So that's going to bring it back to our turn. We've got a Dreadhorde Invasion trigger on the stack. I think I missed the chance. I wanted to sacrifice. I had it autoed. I wanted to sacrifice it and get a new zombie army. That's annoying. This game. Alright, so Krakus Myriad Landscape, because all we can draw is lands, so we definitely need to shuffle, pull 2 lands out of the deck. Let's get 2 planes, because the extra planar lens has been sticking in play. We are then going to use Viscera Seer to scry 1, because we just can't draw more lands. That's not a thing that we can do. That will make us a token. That's a Krav. That's a card that is actually reasonably impactful. So let's keep that on top. Let's play the Snow-Covered Plains. Hopefully Krav doesn't get us killed. So how's this one work? We need to sacrifice X creatures. Target player draws X cards and gains X life. We do need some life gain also. Put X counters on Krav. Okay. We can do that. So let's get Krav into play. This'll partner. This is basically card advantage for us, so that's good. And just as a side note, I've been wanting to play Krav and Regna again. I just haven't had the chance. And hopefully all this sticks and we get to mess around with Krav and Regna right here, because they're pretty cool in the black-white color pairing, just that they're a teeny bit slow. And now that we're on turn 10, we've gotten through a lot of the early stuff in the game. This is their time to shine, so yeah. Mana Crypt flip for opponent. Gotta read Regna again. Flying, at the beginning of your end step, if your team gained life this turn, create 2 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. Yeah, that'll be good. A lot of things. We need chump blockers. Those are also a thing that we need. Idyllic Grange. Enters battlefield, untapped, put +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It's going to be on the Thalia. Gonna activate the Makokoro again. Please, not a land. It's a Torment of Hailfire. Okay. That's a card that can win you games. We may not get to see so much of Krav and Regna, with that being the case. Because if the extra plane... Ooh, that's a Spirit of the Labyrinth. Okay. With the doubled mana off the Snow-Covered Plains, as long as the extra planar lens sticks, Torment of Hailfire is going to be really good. Thoughts on Torment of Hailfire? Actually ban-worthy, in my opinion. It's so easy. It requires no setup. The only thing it requires is mana. So if you're playing like a Lord Windgrace deck, you do your graveyard thing and get lands into play. If you're playing green-black, you just ramp like crazy. Really anything. You ramp like crazy or land a mana doubler in Torment of Hailfire is probably a game winner. The one thing that does counter it decently well is life gain, which Jazz Fox has been doing with Heliod. So it may not kill them. They're at 5 cards in hand. They've got some stuff in play. But Torment of Hailfire, because all you need to do is ramp, and ramping is something that you want to be doing anyway, like there's no cost to trying to set up Torment of Hailfire, which means that, you know, early in a game, you can Torment of Hailfire, even for like 8 or 9 is going to be pretty backbreaking most of the time. Here comes a Sun Titan for opponent that does get them a token. They're going to get their Flagstones of Trocaire back. Yeah. They do have a pretty good little white army over there. Luckily, we've got, you know, just a few chump blockers. It's things that we can do. Might keep them from coming in. Getting with their Jazz Fox with a couple, and this will be good. It'll whittle their life total down a little bit. Also, more importantly, they're not attacking us. Here comes Soul Snare. Gonna Soul Snare on the Thalia. Yeah, that's good. That's good news for us. They've also got Spires untapped, so they can Spires one. And they will. They'll Spires the Palace Jailer. I guess the other thing to think about, too, is opponents do have a lot of permanents in play, especially the tokens. Tokens are very reasonable against Torment of Hellfire, so maybe Torment isn't the backbreaker that we want it to be, but it's still a lot. Opponent gets a Monarch trigger at the end step. Mazavith for opponent. Right now, looks like we could Torment of Hellfire for about X13, give or take. Is that enough to matter? There's an Orzhov Advocus for opponent. I don't actually think 13 is enough to matter right now. We need to keep getting more lands into play. It would trim back their resources some, but I think 13, what was that? That's 39. Jazz Fox could literally just pay all the life. That's a thing that they could do. Also, they've got a Sunscorch region in play now. It's pretty scary. Solemn Simulacrum going to keep attacking the Thalia, as is Heliod. So if we wipe the board first, then I think Torment looks a little bit better, because they can't just feed all the creatures to it. But yeah, as good as Torment is, I think opponents are set up into a position where it doesn't just end the game. And if we do it, so the thing that I'm worried about is that if we do it, then they might use what they have left over to just kill us. Because the thing they probably save is the Sun Titan. One thing to keep in mind, there is a Spirit of Labyrinth in play, so we may not want to go wild with the Krav ability. Alright, we're going to end step, use Krav. I'm just going to go for one. Sacrifice a Spirit. That's an Enlightened Tutor. We should probably cast that. This could potentially win us the game. Enlightened Tutor is going to... we're going to cast Enlightened Tutor. Heliod gets life off something. I didn't see what. Oh, Sunscorch Regent, right. Mana Doubler into Torment of Hellfire. Do we have Mana Doublers? Could also be a thing. Well, let's find out what we've got. We have a Grave Pact, which is also a thing. A lot of tokens, though, and I don't think we can get past the... Yeah, I don't think we can force them to sack enough, so we're probably on Darkest Hour. No Mana Doublers that we can grab. Smothering Tide does make mana, but it's going to be a little bit slow at this moment. Yeah, so I think it's just Darkest Hour. Well, that all seemed to work out pretty good right there. Hopefully we can put the rest of the pieces together, finish this game off. Sun Droplet for opponent. Oh, wow, that seems so good with Heliod because you gain the life back. Oh, my. Wow, I hadn't even thought about that one. Sun Droplet is, solid on its own. People will shoot Sun Droplet the second they see it. So the fact that Heliod's also going to make your stuff huge, that is cool. I like that interaction a lot. That is sweet. I can't wait to play this deck. Like I said, I think I'm going to try to film a Heliod game later today. So brings it back to our turn. Do we sacrifice our zombie? No, let's hang on to our zombie for just a moment. We do have the Darkest Hour coming. Oh yeah, we don't need to scry. Let's play the Marsh Flats, get another Plains. Crack the Marsh Flats. Thing we have to worry about is that we could get a Mistveil Plains. I think I just want the mana right now. Get the Snow-Covered Plains. All right. Yeah, let's get Darkest Hour. Sunscorch Regent will trigger. And I think by casting Regna right here, I think we've got a Machine Gun. So cast Regna. Heliod continuing to gain life. Back up to 54. We get another partner trigger. No need to partner this time. We need to gain some life to make Regna do its thing. So I think we try to draw with Krav. We won't actually get to draw, but we'll still get the tokens at the end step, which is important. The life gain is what matters right here. So sacrifice a zombie army. We get a spirit. Krav will do the X1 thing. Will be only life gain for us, but that is important. So at the end step here, we're going to get the Regna trigger, and I think this means that we can just exile all of our opponent's stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, 3 white creatures. We need white creatures. Okay. Darkest Hour makes them no longer white. Is that my understanding? So Regna makes 2 white warrior tokens. Those come in. Okay. So we're not there yet. But we can still do Krav and Regna shenanigans, and that seems good enough for now. Opponent's got a mana crypt flipped on them. We do need to watch out for Sunscorch Regent. It's a big old flyer, as is Solemn Simulacrum. The Advocist probably also... gonna get larger here. Oreskos Explorer. Card that probably doesn't see enough play. Like, it's not the best of those options, but when you just need lands, it'll find you more lands. It is way cheaper than Tithe. Gift of Estates, I guess I like Gift of Estates a lot in that slot. Getting 3 lands is pretty cool. The condition on Gift of Estates is much easier to meet than the condition on Oreskos, but Oreskos does have a body, which can matter. You can put equipments on it and do other things. Sun Titan it in the late game. Opponents can activate the old terrain generator. That's one that I've stopped using. I found that there just wasn't a lot of times where you really wanted to activate a terrain generator. For that same type of effect, I've started to use Walking Atlas in some decks, usually Aurelia decks. Any deck with a lot of wheels can take advantage of a Walking Atlas type of effect. Any deck where you're drawing a lot of cards all at once. If you're like using a Phyrexian Arena, it's not as big of a deal to need that type of effect. But, if you're using wheels, if you're playing like Rishkar's Expertise in a Galta deck, then Walking Atlas also very reasonable. Now you have the green versions of Walking Atlas, which are a little bit better. But yeah, in general, Terrain Generator not doing enough for me that I really use it much anymore. A lot of times I'd rather just take the basic land colored or run some other utility land. There's so many utility lands now that you really need to be selective about which ones you're actually going for, because there are more utility lands than what you can actually put into your deck, so you really want the ones that make the most sense for your particular deck. Like, I don't use Reliquary Tower in a deck unless it has a very good chance of drawing above 7 cards. Sun Droplet and Orzhov Avacus will trigger. Oh, I forgot to... I forgot to use Krav while I was talking there. Whoops. Do we want to put some +1/+1 counters on someone? Regna is a flyer. That actually seems like it'd be a pretty good idea. 6/6 flyer can hold off quite a few things. Like the sound of that. Keeps his Archangel of Tithes away. A lot of stuff over there. Oh, I think the thing... Whenever another black creature you control dies, create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying. Do we have infinite scries with Viscera Seer? I think that we do. So if we infinitely scry, as long as this is working the way that I think it will, we can scry until we hit the altar, which will then make us infinite mana, which means we can Torment of Hellfire for infinite. And that should do it. Opponents could have a Teferi's Protection. That would save them for a turn. Opponent going on the attack. Who wants to pledge loyalty to Heliod? I do. This deck, we could attack right now. We do have actually enough things that, like, attacking is on the table for us, but I think for most of the time, this deck does not want to do much attacking. Opponent just going to do some chump blocking. Yeah, seems like a good idea. I think they're taking the 8 from the Sunscorched region, though. Heliod is going to give something lifelink. That also seems good. Well, yeah, we have to go, like, infinite to actually kill Jazz Fox, I think. They are up to 72. Heliod will trigger more times, and they will take the Monarch token. And I think our next sequence of plays right here is also going to highlight the problem with mono white, stuff that I've talked about in some other videos. The lack of reach. So, like, both players have done a really good job of, we got through the early part of the game, stopped the combo decks, ourselves included, and, they've set themselves up pretty well right now. They have some cool stuff going on, but they don't have a great way to finish. There's no, like, big push through right here, and I think that's one of the big things that mono white is missing. It just doesn't have a great finisher that they can go to. True Conviction's okay, but when you're staring down another token army across the board, you don't have, like, the evasion and all the stuff that you want to really kind of do everything. The opponent's going to get to draw with the Monarch token. And as long as I'm right here, I'm pretty sure we get to endlessly scry. So, use Viscera Seer, sacrifice a token. Yep, that makes another token. Put that one to the bottom. Land to the bottom. There's a Grave Pact. That's a good card. We should draw that one. Let's use Krav. Sacrifice a spirit. Opponents can activate Makokoro. Opponent draws a Plains, looking for an answer. So Fish scoops it. There's an Anguished Unmaking. Keep sacrificing the spirits. There's a Sun Titan. Feels bad to put a Sun Titan to the bottom, but we've got other plans. We are, in fact, a combo deck. Now it's time for the combo. So I explained to opponents the combo, asked if they had Teferi's Protection. They did not. Ooh, Macias and Nyx Fleece. But yeah, so the way it works right there is we scry infinitely, and then we find Phyrexian Altar, and then we make infinite mana for Torment of Hailfire, then we Torment of Hailfire for infinite. Magic Online, that's going to take a really long time to execute, so that's why we're not going through all the steps. But yeah, and that kind of highlights the one thing that I talked about is, the mono white players just doing everything in their power, making a lot of nice plays, attacking everything, stopped all the combo stuff early, and then you just don't have the good finisher to go to. Torment, like I said, Torment of Hailfire is just so easy. And for this particular deck, it could be an Exsanguinate, and Exsanguinate's been around forever. And I get it, but now the fact that you can have like 2 of those if you want to is also a thing. And also maybe some consideration to the fact that that Teysa is a combo deck. That's just what it's doing. It's not a combat deck. I don't know if Jazz Fox was running the Walking Ballista combo. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. If they are, that gives them some semblance of late game combo to go to. But in general, mono white really kind of lacks that finisher. So that's kind of what we see right there. I feel terrible for playing Torment of Hailfire, but, you play the cards given to you. Also, this game's been going on for a little while now. We got a very good game up to that point. I actually really enjoyed that game. A lot of back and forth. I thought we had it early with the double tutor opening hand, and then the Aven Mind Sensor just shut us down. And then Dave looked like he was getting very close through all the wheels, but Suture Priest, Thalia in play, that sort of stuff does matter. He may have had a tutor also that he just couldn't use with the Aven Mind Sensor down in play. So, Stacks is interesting because it does really hit the unfair decks hard. If your plan is just to slam creatures, you're probably going to do all right against the Stacks deck. If your plan is to try to combo off like what we're doing, Stacks is not really a thing you want to see. Taking a look at a few card choices in this deck. Overall, I like the deck. I thought it played really well. Mana curve was really good. I thought we had a lot of tools that we needed. We had the card draw right when we needed it, which was huge because we saw a lot of lands in the middle of that game. And at that moment, I thought the game was over. I thought, well, we're just going to keep drawing lands, and that's how we're going to lose. So anyway, Krav came up big for us right there, even with the Labyrinth thingy in play. Still, even just one extra card a turn is enough to be very useful. Got us into... this deck is really all about Darkest Hour. That's the main point of this deck. Once Darkest Hour is in play, Teysa can do some wild stuff. And you've got a lot of little paths you can go down combo-wise to really try and abuse that. If someone shoots Darkest Hour, then you're firmly onto your backup plans. And I don't know how this deck will respond once Darkest Hour goes down. Now, I felt pretty good about the position we were in because we could just keep using Krav every turn. Which seemed really good for us. So I like all of that. All of that was great. Few things that I didn't care for. Bankrupt in Blood. Ooh, man. 2 creatures is a lot. It's a lot of creatures to sacrifice. There are points in the game where it's probably okay, but I imagine there are more points in the game where you don't want to give up 2 creatures. So I would probably switch that. If the 2 mana means a lot to you, then Sign in Blood or Night's Whisper, I think are going to be better. If the mana cost isn't as big of a deal to you, Ambition's Cost and Ancient Craving is what I would switch out of this deck. So I would cut that one personally. And I'm really a big fan of Ancient Craving. Ambition's Cost. Just no strings attached. You don't need, there's no condition. You just pay 4 mana, draw more cards. So you lose a little bit of life, but the deck can gain life back. That's the one that I really like. You could go for Promise of Power if you're feeling good about the ability of your deck to produce triple black in a timely manner. So yeah, that one I didn't care for. What else? Piper of the Swarm seems a little underwhelming. Probably just go Bloodghast in that same spot. I know Bloodghast isn't the cheapest card ever, but I personally would probably just throw a Bloodghast right there. You've got Skull Clamp, and yeah, honestly, I would add a Steel Shaper's Gift. I know that's also not the cheapest card. You could go Open the Armory instead. Open the Armory is same idea, just 1 more mana, but cheaper, money-wise. So Piper of the Swarm feels a little bit underwhelming to me. How often are you actually using that Sacrifice 3 Rats ability? I'll tell you what, though, it does look fun. I will give you that. So maybe that one, not the best. Dread Horde Invasion I did really like. That one's actually pretty good. I did mess up a trigger in there one time and could have gotten an additional token, which pretty relevant. Necrotic Sliver is a little slow, but I do like it as just a catch-all for I gotta get rid of something. And I suppose if you're doing the Revel Arc combo and have infinite mana, yeah, okay, so if you have Revel Arc, Karmic Guide, and an Altar, then you can make infinite mana and blow up everyone's permanents. So, yeah, Necrotic Sliver, pretty cool. Not a card you get to see tons and tons of these days. What else? Seraph of the Scales, is that one good enough? I guess it's probably in there for the Afterlife too. Are there better or cheaper Afterlife cards? You can give it... It does have flying, which is, it is relevant to have flying blockers. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like it was doing all that much for me. But I didn't actually see it in play all that much, but my guess is that there are probably better options. It just feels a bit underwhelming to me, so I don't know. I'm a maybe on Seraph of the Scales. Would need to see more playtesting with that one. Liliana Dreadhorde General is a nasty card. Just heinous, especially in a deck like this. Now, with aristocrat-style decks, that is definitely Jolt 539's territory, and he's the expert there. He can tell you about every little minute decision that matters with those decks. That is definitely not my skill set, but a couple cards that seem interesting to me would be like Endrixar. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create X/1/1 black Thrall tokens. It just puts a lot of tokens into play. It's, nice and easy. Sangra Autocrat is fine when you need to sacrifice stuff. One that you could think about also. Both of those would bring the curve up a little bit. I noticed the curve is nice and low, so, you'll just want to be a little bit careful right there. The other thing, if you play against Jolt a lot, he'll normally do some nonsense with Thrilling Encore. And I don't know if this is the right deck for Thrilling Encore, but it's always something to think about if you're sacrificing a lot of your own stuff. Another thing to think about is Athreos. Again, sacrificing your own stuff, make players lose life. So those are definitely some interesting things to think about. Again, I'm not an expert on these aristocrat-style decks. I've played a little bit of them, but I don't know every little fine choice, and I don't have that complete understanding that, in the same way that I do with Boros and some other things. But anyway, yeah, I do like the deck. I thought it played really well. The curve was really nice. I was feeling that because early in the game we were able to make a lot of plays, and especially going against Dave, who makes a lot of plays each turn, it was very beneficial for us to be able to make a lot of plays each turn. I know we did get tripped up pretty hard on that Aven Mind Sensor, but that's just a thing that's going to happen sometimes. There's not a lot you can do about it. I tried to play around it and failed miserably because I forgot about the Giver of Ruins. Whoops. That's the other thing, too, is that I did make a fair number of mistakes this game. I'll be the first to tell you that. There had to be at least 6 if you're counting every little thing. So definitely had some mistakes and some oopsies, missed some things. Had the one that really hurt there with the Aven Mind Sensor. So the deck probably gets a little bit quicker and a little bit more resilient and all that good stuff if you're piloting it correctly and not missing stuff. But yeah, overall, I thought everything played really well. The curve looks great. It's got removal. It's got ramp. It's got combo pieces. It's got tutors. Just, a couple little changes that I pointed out right there. Cards that look a little bit underwhelming to me. To me, everything else really looks top-notch, looking very solid. So maybe just check out a couple of those changes right there, see if they're doing anything for you. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.